welcome to the First Issue Club podcast. We're your weekly comic book reading show that talks about almost exclusively first issue comic books. Whether you have a tattoo that says, "We live in a society," or you're more in the speed of, "I've looked at some of the comic book shirts at Target, and I don't think I'm legit enough to buy that cool-looking Wolverine shirt." This podcast is for both guys.
Or girls.
Or either.
Do you think there's any women dumb enough to get a "We live in a society" tattoo?
Or a Target Wolverine shirt?
That
No.
maybe leans more towards Wolverine.
In general,
shirt than it
women
does
women
society.
make better choices than men, and I think that's why you see.
That's maybe why I gendered.
Yes,
I've seen
this
some
intro.
pretty cool Wolverine shirts, though.
and Target's like they're not terrible at this nerd shit. Like those t-shirts.
They're honestly not. I go in there and I think those are some of the better comic book shirts I've
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah,
They
they figured it out.
I'd be fine to own a button up with a Ghostbuster logo on it.
I don't know if I go that far.
Yeah, that's not me.
I'd stick with the T-shirt.
They do like straight up just like Todd McFarlane covers on shirts now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, to be a nerd.
Before we get started, what's our game fuel for comics? What are we charging ourselves up with?
Space Camper from Boulevard Brewing Company. Cosmic IBA.
Thanks for being our sponsor, Boulevard Space Camper IPA. We've got two, count them, 1, 2 comic books that we're going to be covering. Coincidence, they're both first issues. Did you listen to the intro, idiot? We're going to be talking about Mazebook, which is a Jeff Lemire comic out on Darkhorse this week. And then
Not a Black Hammer tie-in.
I was surprised.
Right.
I honestly thought it was going to be. You never know with those titles of his. Undead Unteens? Unbelievable Unteens?
Yep.
Was
I think
a Black
most
Hammer book?
confusing tie-in name ever.
It's like I pick up a new book I think is an original. I'm like, oh, this is a Black Hammer.
Oh, God damn it.
And then our other book is going to be Deadbox on Vault, which I'm really excited to talk about.
Which is a haunted red box, just as
Yeah.
the liner.
A quick
Exactly right.
spoiler for the book we're going to cover in about 20 minutes.
Let's get into that 20 minutes Greg referred to,
Look.
talking
Oh.
about some comic book news. You guys have any hot things straight off depresses?
Yeah. Well, and I just want to say this. If you come into a comic book podcast this week and they're not talking about this, you shut that off, you unsubscribe, and you come over here.
Right.
Because the issue at hand is Substack, my friends.
Still.
It's still
Substack.
It's still Substack.
It's like the gift that keeps on giving. It just gets juicier.
Essentially, the story here is that it's been revealed that Substack is coming after the biggest names in comic book writing. No illustrators as of yet.
Yeah.
Some teams, some creative teams, I guess, and saying, we'll give you $600,000, seems to be the average going price,
That's a lot of clams.
to do 100 Substacks, 100 publishes, and essentially publish like some books on Substack, of which you get to keep the rights after you've finished to print if you
So
like.
they mean like 100 posts on the Substack service.
We did a little digging, and I can't tell if it's like all of them have to have comic books in it, but they do have to publish like comics in the Substack.
That seems complex.
It is. It's also like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just take the deal. If you have like comics just kind of brewing. My only thing is I'm guessing is because you have to find somebody to do the artwork, and then that money could go pretty quickly. Sean Phillips
Mhm.
and Ed Brubaker said no, which is a big deal.
Which is crazy.
Kelly Sudaconic, Matt Fraction, famous couple, are considering it. Jeff Lemire got this offer.
Took it.
Yes. Jonathan Hickman got this offer.
So if you need a loan, get after Jeff Lemire right now.
First Issue Club hasn't gotten the offer yet.
I haven't checked the email today, so I'll
Yeah.
give it a glance.
And honestly, and this is kind of like the caliber that we're at, we'd have to consider it. I'd have to say, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
actually.
That's a group effort. I mean, we all may have different schedules, so we need to collaborate with that.
Right, yeah.
This whole thing kind of reminds me of corporate espionage, where you find out like a competitor has made Godfather offers to like all of the people who sit at the board, and then all of a
Right.
sudden they're like, "We own everything." Turns out they're really disrupting the industry. If you give them credit for anything, it's that no one has really been a big comic book industry disruptor And for the longest time,
Since bad idea.
people have been saying, like, this is an industry that needs to be shaken up. And people have done it in the most minute ways.
Right.
Mhm.
And this is like a big shakeup. So kudos at least for that.
So look at this too. This divide. Oh, go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say it's a shakeup in the way of just like it is annoying and kind of still murky in how they're all gonna do this. It's just basically taking popular writers away from books from the big two primarily. So it is disrupting DC and Marvel's schedule. But even the artists and writers that get picked up and on Substack have no idea what the fuck they're going to do.
Yeah.
They know they took the money from Substack. They have to do something.
I think they're gonna do something, but also do their own thing. Like we were looking at the Jeff Lemire publication, and it's like 5 pages per publish, which is no fun way to read a comic.
Nope.
So I don't know exactly how that's gonna unfold. We were looking at the value of Substack because we're like, how much money do they have? And they're worth $45 million, but cash on hand is like $21 million.
Mhm.
With the offers,
We know you guys wanted
And
those numbers. Those hard numbers.
These are estimates.
yeah, I guess they don't because they're not public yet.
Right.
But estimated from the offers we've seen at that price,
If
they're
you have around 20 million on hand and you're offering people over $500,000 a piece to come,
with the names that we named, we're looking at 20% of their budget they cash on hand that they offered out.
Yeah.
They're risking this hard.
yeah, we're
this
not
is actually
we're not talking yearly budget. We're talking like their entire savings.
Yeah, I think this is a risk that could blow up for them.
Totally. You got to wonder if the end reward is like, is it having good content and having these people here and subscriptions, or is the draw by having some authority because of these people, more amateur writers and other people join, which bring in money through like smaller avenues. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like their market value has to just be growing and growing and growing with every name and just the amount of buzz. Maybe the goal is to sell short.
Yeah.
They sell short term when there's just a bunch of storm and conversation
that might
around
be
it.
actually-
Yeah.
You
We're going to
never
find
know.
out Time
Hey,
Warner bought Substack in about a year.
I would just say their end game might not be just like having Jeff Lemire and Kelly Sue DeConnick on staff.
That's a great point. Think about 4 weeks ago when we said we were quoting James Tunyon saying, "I got the best deal offer
I've
that's
ever been offered.
What a kick in the balls to be like, and 10 other people got that offer too.
Yeah. Not so unique now, Jeff.
I mean, it's still amazing and a still great offer, and we're talking like the top 10 of the best writers in the industry, really. Kind of interesting though too. We're also talking about writers who, I guess they would have to do this, but famously write indie books. Like they haven't gone after anybody who's been like big two mamma jamma.
Except
Tinian.
Well, I mean,
And Hickman.
exclusively is what I'm saying. Like,
People that have exclusive contracts.
or somebody
That's
who's
probably why, because you can't.
or
break the
somebody that's
contract.
more known in the big two than they are. Like, I guess Hickman is probably more known in the big two. So it's not a good example, but
I
Hickman,
think Tinian is more known in the big two as well. When you
but
write
that's
Batman,
only of recent, like in the
Yeah.
last 5 years.
I think
Sure.
we're different consumers than
For sure.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we like independent stuff.
So
more
you're
and
saying
focus
you
on
haven't
that.
seen like Mark Waid or any of those guys, Jeff Loeb get a Substack,
Yeah, who's the Superman big guy that they got from Marvel?
Christopher Reeves.
Oh, yeah,
no,
yeah,
you're talking.
yeah, Christopher. That'd be a hard one to get.
I think he would turn down the 600,000.
You think you would?
You think so?
From the grave?
You're wondering who's writing Superman right now, or who is like known for writing Superman?
The guy that came over from Marvel.
Oh, Wonder Books, Bendis.
yeah,
Bendis.
yeah. Like Bendis isn't gonna get this offer.
I think it seems like they're going for.
Mhm.
Does that make
people-
sense? You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no,
there?
I hear ya.
Yeah.
It seems like Substack is going after people that are like around their 40s. Whereas
Late 30s, early 40s, hot
Yeah.
writers, like piping hot writers.
yes, not people who've just been in the industry forever,
Right.
And like people know their brand and all
Which
that
is probably
stuff.
why Ed Bruback was just like, "Fuck you, I
doesn't
don't
fit
need
in.
this.
Yeah,
Well,
I just need my cowboy books, and I'm out of here."
yeah. No, you're right because it's like they need people who are like willing to be like, yeah, I'll change up the medium. I don't give a shit. I don't actually collect these things. I read them for the stories.
Well, guys like Dan Slott too are just like, I'm Marvel for life now. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable
Yeah.
doing this.
I'm a lifer.
The other thing, and might be another reason why they're offering the deals in such a manner, is because they're going after people who aren't locked up with contracts.
Sure, yeah.
Because then like they don't have health care, right? Like they don't have like all the benefit. Like they might have a really cush contract deal, but they don't have all the other stuff that exists there. Whereas like a Dan Slott, who's like on
Dan's got dental.
On Marvel's payroll, he gets glasses every year,
Yeah.
And so that's
His kids are covered. That's
a
how good Dan Slott is
Yeah, he
with
might
Marvel.
not be making a lot of money, but his Warby Parkers are different every year.
And we've mentioned this before, but the big puzzle piece on Substack is that they're throwing a lot of money at writers and not necessarily artists. And you wonder if Jeff Lemire has got to say, I'm taking this $600,000, and with it, I have to pay my letterer, my colorist, all this stuff. Unless he does it all himself.
I was going to say,
Jeff Lemire was maybe a bad example, but Tunyon is a better example.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I don't think he's ever done
Not that I know of.
any art for any of his books.
He has not, no.
Donny Cates, on the other hand.
Hell yeah!
But Donny Cates teamed up with Stegman. They got like a duo deal.
Oh, did they?
Which is they're releasing their Kids Love Chains or Kids Like Chains imprint through Substack.
Oh, great. Now, are we going to have to bring Crosstalk over to the Substack now?
We will not be doing that. Crossover is still on Image, so Crosstalk is not disrupted.
Okay, good.
Shitty or not, getting a single Substack account and sharing it with your buddies who also read comics.
Not shitty.
Not shitty?
I do it with Netflix, HBO, all that shit.
Well, here's the thing about that I would say it's a little bit different. This is like more of a closer akin to a Patreon, and it is shitty to share a Patreon account.
Yes, it totally is.
But at the same time, you may have said early on Netflix or Spotify it's shitty to share, and then both of them kind of threw up their hands and said, "Fuck it, you can have a family deal. Like, you should go ahead and share.
People are gonna
We know
share it.
everybody's doing it anyway."
Yeah.
So
I understand that.
I share my title
It's
account.
harder for me to do that because, well, like we talked about earlier, I personally have 5 artists or writers. If they did go, I would follow them. At $7 a piece, I can't afford anything else. And if you guys have 5 you want to follow, and you have 5 you want to follow, and they
So your point is you wouldn't be spent buying them anyway.
I'm not gonna reduce the amount of comic books I buy weekly to get a Substack subscription.
Yeah,
and
no,
so
hell
that's
no.
where it fucks me up.
yeah.
Especially if people keep saying, "Oh, we can take these and still publish them wherever we want."
But
Okay.
will they?
I'll buy the published thing. I don't know.
Right.
Right.
All right, next topic.
Marvel Unlimited got an update today.
A very huge update.
As of 9/10, or is this
Really?
9? Yeah, and they got a new logo for their app, and now they're releasing webtoons
and
or webcomics
a new like
through.
interface.
Yeah, a cleaner interface. The app doesn't shut down on you as much. Like, they heard your screams into the ether, everyone. They fixed the Marvel Unlimited app.
I had so many problems with this. I can't tell you how many times I've opened up a comic that I've been
It just
reading,
crashes.
and then 1, it crashes. 2, it skips to the end of a book.
Mm-hmm.
It'll show me like the first panel of the last page, and I'm
Right.
like, huge spoilers.
Cool, that guy's dead.
And so and then it's like, do I even go back at this point and start the next book?
Yeah, so they fixed all those issues.
Okay, awesome.
So they got a lot of exclusive deals through like Jonathan Hickman. Kelly Thompson has a book out about Jeff the Land Shark. X-Men Unlimited is written by Jonathan Hickman now, exclusively on Marvel Unlimited.
Whoa, really?
Hickman's
Right.
getting all these digi deals.
But the thing is, so these won't be printed eventually. These are just digital releases.
Okay, I understand.
It's cool. And we shared an account for a while.
Yes.
I think we still have an account.
We still have a shared account.
Sorry, Marvel.
Oh, Scotty Young's doing a book called Giant Size Little Marvels.
Oh, little baby
And
shit.
his baby
Wait, we literally talked about this. When is he going to get an exclusive baby comic? And here it is.
right in front of our faces.
Yeah.
So none of these are out yet, right?
They dropped today.
Oh, okay.
Looks like Mike's not sleeping tonight.
He's gonna be too busy reading these
Yeah.
new books.
Ooh, watch the table. He's about to pop it up with his rock hard penis.
Well, one thing they're not doing a good job of is, I'm just going to ignore that, is presenting those to you on the homepage of this.
Yeah, you kind of have to be in the know.
You have to like search for it.
Yeah,
So fucking stupid.
not the greatest.
It's a weird thing that like we're doing the news hit for them, because it's like the news hit should be on their app. It
Well, and
should be
it's
like ba-ding.
It's crazy that you guys are telling me about this now, and I have Unlimited, and I'm a huge Marvel head.
And you use the app fairly frequently.
Every day I read a comic on this thing, and this is news to me right now in this moment. Weird. Okay, I'm gonna.
There's a Shang-Chi thing too, I think.
Yeah, Shang-Chi, and then there is a prelude to Amazing Fantasy, that comic book that came out like a month ago, they're all dead and they found fantasy land or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so webtoons and digital comics are increasing in popularity with the younger readers.
Like Substack.
It's different than Substack, though.
I know, yeah.
So I think this is maybe a smart move for Marvel to definitely get new subscribers to their service.
What's Marvel's cash on hand?
I think like $50.
It's Disney's cash on hand. So
yeah, I think they're fine.
It's unlimited.
they can
they name the app after the amount of cash on hand.
Yeah, how much unlimited? Next year, George Washington's going to have mouse ears on the dollar bill. That's how much money they have.
All right, well, I'm stoked then. More content, and I'm already paying the subscription fee. So
we should cover
bring it on.
Number 1 of Landshark.
We could. I didn't even think about that. Do we do that? Is that what our show?
We've done digital comics before.
I guess we have, yeah. And the last bit of news I have, there's a new event coming out later this year called Timeless. It involves King the Conqueror. Initially, Joe Bennett was supposed to be the main illustrator on the book. He has since been replaced by Greg Land. If you don't know, Joe Bennett has been drawing Immortal Hulk with Al Ewing.
Joe Rogan.
It had recently been announced or been exposed that he is
another classic Budget King joke.
I was trying to blow right past it.
I was just saying they're both hateful people.
Joe Bennett has come out as kind of anti-trans, and he put in some questionable anti-Jewish rhetoric in some Immortal Hulk issues.
I remember that.
Yeah,
some,
we covered it.
Symbology and things.
So Marvel has since
symbolism. That's right. I always you've corrected me on that a few times.
Well, I just don't want you to sound like a moron.
No, I appreciate it. When I say
any other thing you say is fine, but
well, the thing is too, if I say symbology, it sounds like I think I'm smart.
Right, but
when you're using it wrong,
you're trying to say the word symbolism.
I'm trying to say symbolism.
Yeah,
but I say symbology because I've read too many Dan Brown books.
Well, I feel like I'm watching.
I was wondering why. I was like,
I've
never heard anybody else miss it up, and that is exactly why.
Oh, totally.
Because I had to look it up what it meant.
Yeah,
and it's the study of symbols.
Robert Langdon is a symbologist.
Are you serious? Okay.
Yeah, it's a thing.
That's
Well, I assumed it was.
Oh, now who's dumb?
Does he have a new book coming out? I think I keep seeing these like pop-up ads on my internet searches.
I think it's that they're turning the Washington D.C. book into a TV show.
Is it called The Lost Symbol?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I've been seeing.
I think it's going to be on Amazon or something. So that book came out like 10 years ago.
Is Tom Hanks attached?
No, even though it is a sequel in the novels, they're making it a prequel for the TV show so they could cast someone younger.
Will you be watching?
Yeah, I think I'm going to watch it.
Okay.
What's Dan Brown doing these days?
Probably
cashing
swimming
fucking
in his money like Scrooge McFucking Duck.
It's got to be rich as
He
fuck.
also turned down Substack because he goes, too much money. I have too much money. I can't possibly take any more.
Put it.
I'm running out of bank accounts. I can't.
My house has 40 wings. There's no more room.
Every day is Thanksgiving of money.
I can't buy any more Ferraris. They're stacked on top of one another.
Hey everybody, this is Budget King from the First Issue Club, and I'm here to tell you, well actually, come over here, check it out. This is the first time that I've seen my penis in 15 years, and it'd be the first time you'd be seeing it too, because I finally got these weeds chopped down with my Lawnmower 4.0 Manscaped, where you can get on manscaped.com. I found a solution to getting my raisin freckly penis out into the world. It was hidden in dark shadows. It was a musty little beast of a man down there, and now it's frolicking like a golden god that I have removed all of these pubes, and I only did it under the safe guidance of the Lawnmower 4.0, where you can get on manscaped.com. But if I've convinced you to also do the same to free your plum dick, What I want you to do is I want you to use the code FIC20. I want you too to have the same bald experience that I do so that your penis can be free only at manscaped.com and using the code FIC20 where this freedom can be yours. All right, let's get into our books, baby.
Okay.
I want to talk about Deadbox first.
Okay, yeah, you've been
That's
hyped.
the one I'm most excited
You've been hyped
about.
on this book.
Yeah.
It's a vault comic.
Definitely the most unique book I think we've read in a while. Like, premise alone.
To give you an idea of what sort of comic this is going to be, it's a little set up like an anthology.
Yes.
Wherein
Great. I was looking for the word. That's great.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
every
Symbology.
every issue, there's going to be another person who gets a DVD out of this machine. We're going to see bits and pieces of the movie they watch, and the movie kind of telegraphs what their fate is.
Yes.
So their life unfolds before them in a movie, and then apparently it gets more and more sinister as the story goes on. I love the fact that they took this thing that's been kind of successful lately, or it's having a comeback.
Oh, like Haha and Ice Cream Man?
Exactly right.
yeah,
Silver
yeah.
Coin, all these like anthology books that are doing kind of scary horror stuff. But this one has like a main character and kind of a through line,
Right.
Mhm.
which made it a lot more, I guess, relatable, easier to pick up next time,
Mhm.
and stick with this like kind of an ongoing arc. I like that about it.
And the aspect of this anthology is that the Redbox machine is packed with movies that nobody's ever heard of.
Right.
and so when they rent a movie from it, then the movie unfolds. You're also like getting what they rented at like whatever sci-fi, fantasy, or whatever thing they might have
Yes.
scored.
Our first book shows our main character, and she's got a dad who's sick, and she's helping out in this convenience store, right?
I believe it's his Redbox machine as well, right? Are we
He
gonna find
owns the
yeah.
Redbox machine,
Yeah.
and like basically what we're getting the idea of is the only convenience store in this like teeny town. It's like the only place to get movies. So I think we're gonna have like a normal cast of characters too,
Mhm.
which should also make this easier to absorb. And when they come in and out and
This is a thing too.
Visit
like
the shop.
I think that like there's a lot of towns where like Redbox is the thing.
Yeah.
And they're still thriving even though Netflix exists.
right, and it's got to be smaller towns, right?
Yeah, I think they've tried to compete and add video games to their kiosks as well.
Uh-huh.
So,
There was a time when Redbox was in like every single McDonald's across the
Right.
country.
right.
And like in Kansas City,
Heart
I-
disease and Netflix.
I never see them anymore.
Yeah, they're in some shitty Walgreens.
Are they?
Like
Yeah, Walgreens and CVS is where you see a lot of red boxes now.
Yeah.
in my in my grandma's like shitty town in Kansas, the line is miles for the fucking Redbox.
Good God, there's a digital option.
They want the physical. They're like the comic book collectors of the rental age.
Oh, that hit home.
You just want a chore to go with it so you can have it the old-fashioned
Hey,
way.
it sounds crisper on DVD.
Yeah.
I own 4 Redbox movies
Oh,
because
yeah.
I forgot to return them in the window.
The no late fee.
Yeah. No, there's late fees. If you have it for 2 weeks, they just said, "Congratulations, you now own Herbie Unleashed."
Is that that's my girl, Lindsay Lohan's in that.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
a Lohan production.
Yeah. Yeah, so okay, Deadbox.
Yeah, okay. So I want to kind of ask you guys. I had a hard time wrapping my head around the first one a little bit, and I wanted to see if you guys tracked the lesson or the story in the first one the way I did. So her father, who has been sick, has a movie on his bedside table, which is called like Thinner or something. And you see him and he's like deteriorating and losing all his body weight, blah, blah, blah. It makes sense. That one's really literal.
Yeah.
Right.
But the movie that we're watching is his daughter, the store clerk, which is like this sci-fi adventure wherein we discover other life on another planet. And then this guy gets put in a spaceship that takes 50 years to reach that other planet. So our like civilizations can meet each other, basically.
Right.
Did you guys, one, enjoy the story? And two, what do you take away from that? What's this clerk's fate?
Okay, so this is a great question. One, I assumed that every movie was going to lead to death.
Yeah,
and
right.
that's not necessarily the case here. Two, the first time you enter into the movie sequences in the comic, it's jarring and you don't actually know what's going on. And when that happens in comic books, it's a little bit of like you lose the reader moment. So I had to go back and like situate myself.
Now that it's clear what's happening,
Yeah.
I'm going to start that part over again.
And it was a great reading experience once I situated myself in that like kind of like quick kind of head jerky moment.
And isn't she throughout the book reading like a textbook or a school book about like ownership or what it means to like have ownership of something? Like it opens with like a phrase about like attaching yourself to the land you're from and like owning the land you're from. That way you resonate with it more and like you protect it more.
I think they're quoting Kierkegaard a handful of times. And I don't know that it's necessarily like a textbook thing. Are you talking about the narration in the book?
Well, she's like reading a book
Okay.
at the counter where she works.
Okay.
And I think she's reading that book and like we're getting her like internal monologue of her reading.
Okay.
So I thought like there was like some symbolism there because she lives in like a dead end town.
Right.
So I thought that it was interesting that she is watching a movie about leaving a place and trying to find something different. And then when you arrive there, it's not exactly what you thought.
Right.
So I thought maybe they're going to play with that of just like she's wanting to get out of this no-name town, like, but is it really greener pastures where she's going to end up?
Yeah, right. The idea, too, that the guy spent 50 years on his way to do this, like, amazing thing, I think resonated, too, that there was isolation, and before you know it, your, like, life's gone by, and it's interesting to me that her fate was to, like, live out her life alone.
Right.
And then, like, realize she never really did anything.
So here's
except for 50 years later.
So Mark Russell wrote this book. Who maybe he should be getting a Substack deal because he's been hot recently. He did Not All Robots. He did Second Coming, and he did Snagglepuss. So we recently covered
fans of Snagglepuss here.
Yeah. So he's been doing great shit. This book is really well written. A problem that I have with books that do this, where it's two different storylines, is my tiny little pea brain likes one story better, and when the other story comes on, I'm just like, okay, come on, I gotta get back to the other one. And the small town story is a little bit, to me, more intriguing than the unfolding of the video story. So it's like a little bit of like a more meatier read.
Yeah, that's funny. I totally was the opposite, where I was like enraptured by the idea of this like movie.
And do you think he predicted that? Two people of different backgrounds wanting two different stories come to pick up one book.
Oh man!
And get a different message from.
It's like
the
a
book.
Neapolitan ice cream. And when Mike Dean Budget King share Neapolitan ice cream, all strawberry for me, all vanilla for him, and then we leave vanilla. We leave the chocolate for Greg or Caitlin, depending on
we split it.
Who's with me?
I like that the stories like left some room for thought and interpretation. That it wasn't like
which is typical for Mark Russell.
It wasn't like a car crash and then a car crash is like in the next.
The
page.
movie's name is Car Crash.
Yeah, right. Like it could have easily been that. Like when I read what the concept of the book was, I wasn't expecting this much like nuance and storytelling.
Right.
So
it seemed like it was going to be a version of Final Destination.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And you try to escape your fate. There's room to make yourself feel smart by trying to understand the symbolism in the book.
There we go.
I think you mean symbology.
Oh, that's right.
All right, Deadbox, pick it up. Vault, you did it again.
Pick of the week.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
Sweet.
That's the second pick of the week. Old Marky Russell's gotten in the last 2 months.
We need to mail him like an award
or a check,
a plaque.
Yeah.
Let's clean our teeth. Mail him our plaque.
Yeah, we should give him a plaque. Two picks of the week.
One, he's never gonna give us an address. Two, I would pay for it if he said, I would gladly accept a plaque from First Issue Club.
If Mark gets at us and says he would accept a plaque from us, I'll send that fucker a plaque.
Oh yeah, I'll send him a trophy.
Today. I got a good hookup on Amazon with Plaque Maker.
Really?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say custom plaques
Amazon. Type in Amazon. It's fucking easy.
Amazon.
I
Is
did,
that your hookup? Is that your plug?
I did,
Amazon.
I did it for a coworker, and they were like, they shit themselves, and I was
Oh,
like,
these are beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah,
those
I
are
was like-
exquisite.
yeah.
And
Wh-
can I say, not to be rude, reasonably priced.
Very.
So Mark,
Good enough for a fun joke.
Mark, we're getting your ass a plaque if you want one. We'll give you certified pick of the week, first issue clubs.
Back to back. He's a dual winner.
Yeah, the last 2 books you published have gotten picks of the week. Get at us.
Your art here. I feel like
That needs to be it.
all I'm gonna give away for the rest of my life are gag plaques.
I hope that that's what our podcast is known for from now on, is mailing out plaques to
mailing
our
plaques.
fans and creators that we love.
Sending people fucking plaques. Oh yeah.
What do I do with these?
You hang them up.
Hang it on your wall. Quote us.
Yeah, put them in your
Hey,
office.
it wouldn't be the first time we've been quoted.
Wow. I wonder if I can change the font. The font's a little rough.
No,
But that's the plaque font.
it's a sans serif.
Yep.
Let's move on to Matchbook.
Nope.
Let's move on to Matchbox.
Mazebook.
Mazebook.
Jeff Lemire, bad title. I'm gonna say it. You had a forgettable title.
I think someone needs to check on Jeff.
In his title making?
No, this book was real sad.
Ooh, very sad.
This was a heavy read.
And if he has been known because he draws on his life before, like
Mm-hmm.
I think that Canadian Hockey Book and Underwater Welder seem to be a little bit life referential. And
Sure.
Lawnmower Man, I'm getting that name wrong.
Grass King.
There we go. If this is in any way self-referential, he's sad boy.
This book was typical of Jeff Lemire. Wonderfully written, beautifully illustrated, very sad.
And like very sparse, emotional. Here's the other thing about a Jeff Lemire book, which is kind of amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The description is the like summary of the book,
Sure.
right? Like
Mhm.
you basically say whatever this guy's job is, occupation, he does shit with buildings.
Mhm.
His daughter died, was into puzzles, and is like lost in the labyrinth. And he has to like maybe go find her, right?
Well, yeah, his daughter passes away, and then he gets a phone call at 3:00 in the morning from an unknown number, and it says, "I'm in the center."
Well, but he gets that phone call at the end of the book. This is what I'm saying, is that the description we just gave you is the whole summary of the book, but the experience of reading the book is like 21 pages of being like sad and checking your emotions and understanding. It's not the adventure that you're going on, it's the emotions, which is the
No.
beauty of Jeff Lemire.
And I think the adventure we're going to go on is one of grief, acceptance,
Yeah.
and how to deal with losing someone.
And that's what I like about comics. This is I love this comic book.
That's the ride you signed up for.
It is, yeah. Give me the sadness.
I think we got some pretty good tears coming up for this one.
I loved this book. No surprise that I was blown away, but I just like it was a slow burn in the best way.
The daughter also has a red sweater that they talk about, this old ratty red sweater
Mm-hmm.
that she loves. And
It was her father's, I think.
was it his?
Yeah.
And I think that there's going to be something with like going through a maze and like the line you draw with your pen and the yarn that leads to her from the sweater.
Yeah,
is
they.
kind of
I
like
think they've done a lot of imagery that's
the
gonna.
symbolism of of the maze.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I mean, there's actually not a ton to say about this book besides like that it's very sad. Like I mean, the concept of a single dad losing their 10-year-old kid is pretty epically tragic, and then messing with it about like that they're not actually dead and figuring out where they might be is kind of the story they're gonna.
And there's this like underlying subplot of he's aging, he's old, he's like in his 50s, and he hasn't moved on with his life as far as finding a new love. He's like kind of like stuck in his routine of go to work, come home, shower, go to work, come home, shower, and like so he's kind of he muses on the idea that he's already dead because the routine is his death, and he's just waiting for actual death to come. So I think we're gonna get some acceptance of grief, and then moving on with his new life that he gets from his acceptance.
I hate reading stuff that really points out how cut paste your daily life and routine is.
Sure.
Because I'm like, shit, do I need to like reevaluate my life and go do something different? And then I'm like, nah, I'm pretty content actually.
Right.
And then I'm like, but is that fucked up? Is it sad that I'm content with the copy, paste?
But
It gets my head spinning in this like dark space that like I'm thinking about myself and my life and death too much when I read things like this.
Well, think of it like this. You have a career you like. You have a life you're living. You're going to be welcoming a new child into your life soon.
Mhm.
You're living a
So
life.
he's had sex at least once.
Yeah, you're living a life. This character isn't really living anymore. He's experienced so much loss, and he's not doing anything new. He's just coming home, going to work, and that's it. Like
that was my thing. I didn't realize I didn't have a dead 11-year-old.
sometimes you need to be reminded.
Thank you, Greg.
You go to basketball games. You're
I've-
living life.
I've been lifted. You lift me up.
Hey, it's what I'm here for. The world's most mediocre life coach. You're doing stuff. You're fine.
By the way, life coach is a bitch fake job.
It's an easy job.
It's like you don't need a life coach. You need to just like talk to somebody.
Some people. Oh, you mean like a coach?
You don't need to coach your life. You coach a sport. If you need
The
your
idea that you would pay somebody, you have to pay someone
to
for
coach
that.
your life, it's like
It's
I
fucked up.
gotta get up and drink a chocolate smoothie, and then I gotta like my job more, and I gotta ask my boss for a bigger raise, and then I gotta get more friends. Nope, I just summed it up for you. You don't need a coach.
Some people,
Get a mentor.
if they have
Ask
enough
someone
money,
you respect to be your mentor. They'll say yes.
Yeah. Get a better relationship with your parents.
maybe that's the kind of mentor they want, though. They want to pay for someone that just gives them positive affirmations.
Okay, that makes sense.
Would you turn down that job? I
It-
come to you. I say, I want to
Here's
give
how
you
I know this-
$600,000 a year.
Here's how I know
Be my life
this
coach.
job's a joke. I would be a life coach in a minute. I would love to hustle like young losers into thinking that I knew something that they didn't know. That'd be my dream job.
What do you think consultants do all day?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I'll take that job in a minute. Some young college kid graduates now, can't get a job,
Right.
and they think the problem is they don't have somebody coaching their life. Sign me up, pay me that money.
It's interesting that you say someone younger than you.
That's how it works.
No.
You ever
A
met a
life co-
coach? You ever met a
life
basketball coach?
A life coach is someone
Coaches
who
aren't
is
like-
perceived as having their shit together, and someone who doesn't have their shit together
They gotta have experience.
wants that in their life. It doesn't fucking matter. If your life is so disheveled, you'll take any guidance possible.
Young people are too cool to be a life coach. Life coach is a dumbass Gen X job.
I have great news. There's 8 font choices on the plaques.
On our fuck yeah. Is Arial one of them?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wingdings?
Helvetica?
I think
Oh my God, and we got
Cormorant
Georgia.
Garamond is going to be
No,
the one.
we're gonna go Helvetica.
No, that's
fucking
too.
get outta
No,
here.
hip.
Hip. It's just standard. It's
And-
like a cheese pizza.
I noticed bubble letters aren't an option.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Said I brought it up now.
Yeah, you were trying to get us off the life coach talk, and you did successfully.
And now we can end the podcast and bid you adieu. First Issue Club is brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company via Space Camper Cosmic IPA. Our music is courtesy of the fine folks at Primary Color Music. You can find, friend, and follow us on social media at First Issue Club or firstissueclub.com. You can support First Issue Club by joining us on our Patreon for additional content at patreon.com/firstissueclub.